We're told all the time to drink more water. It seems like the simplest health advice on the planet, right? Well, it turns out the real story about hydration is actually kind of complicated. So today we're going to unravel the myths and figure out what you really need to know. It's a question we're all asking ourselves. I mean, you see people everywhere with those giant gallon-sized water bottles, tracking every sip on an app. We're all trying to get hydration right. But what if the very rules we're following are, well, just plain wrong?
Think about it. From fitness gurus on social media to countless health articles, the advice is everywhere, and honestly, a lot of it just contradicts itself. It's a perfect storm of information overload. So let's cut through all that noise and get straight to the facts.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the most famous hydration rule of all time. I guarantee you've heard it a million times, and it's probably the first thing that pops into your head when you think about drinking water. The 8x8 rule. Yep, that's the one. It's so simple, it's easy to remember, and for decades it's been repeated as the absolute gold standard for how much water you should drink. But is it actually based on solid science, or is it just a really successful myth? Well, here's the thing. This one-size-fits-all approach, it just doesn't really work. Our bodies are way too complex for that. Thinking of it as some kind of rigid law is exactly where all the confusion starts.
Your real personal hydration needs are constantly changing. It all depends on things like your body size, how active you are, the climate where you live, and even what you're eating. I mean, an ultra-marathon runner in the middle of a desert is going to need a whole lot more water than someone working in a cool, air-conditioned office, right?
So you'd think that since the 8x8 rule is so flawed, experts would just give us a clear, simple alternative. But that's where things get even muddier.
You've seen these articles. They have these bold headlines like, "Everything you know about water is a lie." And they try to debunk the old myths, but in the process of oversimplifying everything, they end up being just as misleading.
Okay, take this for example. An article might scream, false. Your body isn't 60% water. And yeah, technically it's not exactly 60% for every single person on Earth, but the reality is it's a pretty good approximation. Just calling it false is totally unhelpful because it brushes aside the super important fact that water is fundamental to what we're made of. Or how about this one? Water doesn't flush out toxins. Again, this simple false label completely misses the bigger picture. No, water isn't some magical detox juice, but your kidneys, your body's incredible natural filtration system, they absolutely 100% cannot do their job of getting rid of waste without enough water. And here's another popular one. The idea that water flushes out fat. Look, drinking a glass of water isn't going to magically melt pounds away. But is it totally unrelated to weight management? Not at all. Being properly hydrated is crucial for healthy metabolism, and your metabolism is a huge player in managing your weight. It's an indirect link, but it's an important one.
And finally, skin. Will chugging water suddenly cure your dry skin? Probably not. But good hydration is a key piece of the puzzle. It helps hydrate your skin from the inside out. It's like building the foundation for healthy skin. So, if the old rules are too simple, and the myth-busting is just too cynical, where in the world does that leave us? Well, it leaves us looking for the nuance, the real truth that's usually hiding somewhere in the middle. See, the real answer isn't a simple true or false. It's about understanding the complex, amazing systems inside our own bodies. The goal shouldn't be just to get the right answer, but to start asking the right questions. Questions like, hey, how does my workout today change how much water I need? And here's the good news in all of this. For most of us, most of the time, your body has a fantastic built-in hydration meter. It's called thirst. It's a really powerful and generally reliable signal that, hey, you need to drink something. But what about the flip side? In this big push to stay hydrated, is it possible to swing the pendulum too far the other way? Can you actually drink too much water? Yes, you can, and the condition is called hyponatremia, and it happens when you drink so much plain water that you actually dilute the sodium levels in your blood. Think of it like making soup and adding way too much water. All the flavor gets watered down. Well, in your body, that dilution of essential electrolytes can actually be dangerous. Now, let me be super clear. For the average person going about their day, this is not something you need to lose sleep over. It's more of a real concern for, say, endurance athletes. But it's a powerful reminder that with hydration, the goal is always balance, not excess. Okay, so let's pull all of this together into a practical guide that you can actually use in your own life. First things first, just throw out the old rulebook. Seriously, the idea of one magic number that works for every single person is just a myth. Your body is unique, and so are your needs.
So, how do you become your own hydration expert? Well, instead of a rigid rule, what you really need is a new framework, a new way of thinking about your own body and making smarter decisions.
So here's a much better approach. First, consider your body size. Then, factor in your activity level. The more you sweat, the more you need to drink. Third, think about the climate. And don't forget your diet. Foods with high water content, like fruits and veggies, count too. But the most important point, the one that ties it all together, is this. Listen to your body. Your thirst is your best guide.
So, the single biggest takeaway here isn't a number of glasses to drink. It's a whole shift in your mindset. It's about moving from blindly following some random rule to actively listening to your own body. And that's a skill that will serve you way better in the long run.
Because at the end of the day, becoming more in tune with what your body is telling you is so much more powerful than any one-size-fits-all rule could ever be. The goal isn't just to follow a rule, it's to understand your body.